Hey guys, it's ExandShadow, and welcome back to Let's Play Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Last part, we got to the creepy steeple, and in this part, we're going to actually enter the dungeon itself. What you should probably know is that if you examine the locked door, you can actually, knock the lock off, so it's easier to go through as opposed to having to go into the rolled form every single time. So anyway, this is the creepy steeple, one of the most basic dungeons in the entire game, actually. But however, if you roll up into a tube there and go here, you'll find a secret passage, where you can find a shine sprite and a few other things. First off, we've got a cookbook, which will be important for a side quest later on. And we also get the Ice Smash badge, which I never use because it's a status-inflicting special move. So, you know, I don't generally use it. And a star piece, which you can use if you want to, I guess. But anyway, the creepy steeple is a pretty easy dungeon, so you don't have to worry too much about it. So anyway, if you push this star-shaped thing over here, you can fall into this hidden passageway, where there's a few things that we can do. You don't really have to do this, it's just something that you can do, actually. But first up, you're going to want to remove this piece of paper here, and then go to the right, because if you do that, you'll find a hidden passage, and in here is a badge, the Flower Saver badge. It trumps the amount of FP that you use by 1 for each time you use FP, but because the badge point cost is too high, I would not recommend it. But anyway, here's a box. Let's open it. Hey! It's like Luigi's Mansion all over again, isn't it? Okay, it's quiz time, interloper. Just now, when the box opened, how many of us boos came out, total? The answer's 200. Good, very good. Take this, math nerd. See ya, sucker. If you get it wrong, he gives you a coin or something, but that's another Ultra Shroom that we can use. Anyway, this is a totally optional thing. You don't have to release the boos, but I recommend it for a few reasons. One, you're gonna need that you're gonna want that Ultra Shroom. So take it and move on. Go back up, and as you can see now, there's a boo there. So let's go talk to him, huh? Are you gonna be mean to me? You promise? Come on out, guys. Huh. And so now, the first time I played, I made it so that these boos all appeared in the main creepy steeple hallway, but they were just kind of there and they didn't really do anything. There's sort of a specific thing you need to do to move on to the next section of this little side thing. You need to let a large amount of them go onto you and then super hammer spin them off. You need to do that twice. If you wait too long, then they'll carry you out of the creepy steeple. You said you'd be nice. Let's get him, guys! How bad could this possibly be? All their powers combined, I am Captain Planet! So anyway, yeah, we got ourselves an optional mini-boss. You do not need to do this. So yeah, this is the Atomic Boo. Not the Hydrogen Boo, just the Atomic Boo, so it can't be that bad, right? So anyway, the big thing about the Atomic Boo is that it's, well, it's big, obviously, but, it also has a few little tricks up its sleeve, because that's sort of what boos do. They're not really hard, they're just sort of annoying, because they can do all sorts of things, like become invisible and such. That's actually one of the biggest things about boos, is that they'll turn themselves invisible for a turn, which is kind of annoying. It attacks by sending out a whole bunch of boos at you. It'll stick out its tongue like that, and then it'll make itself bigger again, which I think is a nice little attention to detail. So this is actually sort of an interesting thing that we actually get to fight boos, because in Paper Mario 1, boos were very much good guys. Well, not sort of good guys, but on our side in the sense that we never fought one. So this is the first time we're actually fighting a boo in a Paper Mario game, which is interesting. But anyway, I recommend using the Power Lift ability, which is our new special ability that we got from Chapter 3. So basically what you do is you control the cursor that's going up here, and you want to press the A button on the blue and red arrows, and not on the poison mushrooms. If you manage to fill one of the bars up to the left all the way, it'll move up. It'll give you another point of either attack power or defense power. The bars raise whenever you whenever you hit a red arrow or a blue arrow. And red is power and blue is defense. If you hit a green, if you hit a poison mushroom, then your cursor will be slowed down temporarily. You can generally expect to get either two or 3 points of buff for each character. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I like using power lift on some bosses just to make them a little bit easier. Like, for example, the Atomic Boo here, he does 4 damage, but he can also immobilize you, which took off a lot of my health, which is why I'm using Sweet Treat. But normally I would have just switched out Goombella, but the thing is, Goombella and, well, Leon too, but they're the best characters to have for this boss fight. Mostly just because they are the ones that can do the mid-air damage. I mean, Flurry can kind of do mid-air damage, but if you use Power Lift, Goombella and Leon do tons more damage than Flurry. And it's just, they're the best people to go for when it comes to mid-air damage. Koops, not so much. He's really only good for the ground. But the Atomic Boo is really not that hard. It's an optional boss, so you don't even have to fight it. But you get a pretty worthwhile reward, so... You know, I think it's worth it. I didn't even know that you could do this the first time I played the game. It was something that I figured out watching something towards the end of the game, but that's kind of a spoiler. Not much. But anyway, for beating the Atomic Boo, 2 things happened. First off, we got the Lucky Start badge, which makes something randomly good happen to us at the beginning of the match, which is sort of good. You know, if you've got the extra badge points at the end of the game, that's one badge I would recommend wearing. But also, what it did is it added the Boo enemies to the main room of the creepy steeple. If you don't fight the boss, they won't show up, so fighting the Atomic Boo is the only way to complete your catalog. I mean, it would have been the only way to complete your catalog anyway because it's a boss, but it's also the only way to unlock one of the normal enemies, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, we also got a new enemy here. These are swoopers. Swoopers are just generic bat enemies. What they start off by hanging on the ceiling, and then they'll try to suck. I don't think that these specific enemies suck out your health. But anyway, they start off by standing on the ceiling. Yeah, these enemies don't suck out your health, but they start off on the ceiling, so you're going to want to use either Hammer Throw or Flurry to knock them down, because after you hit them once, they'll stay floating in normal midair for the rest of the match. Shit, I was out of... My item space was full, so I lost the actual item that they were throwing to me. Oh well, but generally they're not too hard, and you can usually avoid them too. The enemies in Creepy Steeple are really easy to avoid, so they're not that big of a deal, honestly. This is also a really pathetic dungeon too, just because of how short it is. You can get through with it in like 3 seconds. So anyway, what you gotta do here is you gotta go to the door on the front end, the end closest to the screen, to you, the player, the down end, and then you need to press that red button once. What it'll do is it'll move this staircase down 1 position. It was originally in the middle, but pressing the red button made it shift down 1. I like to float here just because I'm a wimp. But anyway, yeah, that's how you solve this puzzle. At the end of this hallway, there will be a key. But anyway, we've got another new enemy, Boos. Boos are very similar to the Atomic Boo in a lot of ways, only a lot easier. What they like to do first is they like to, they like to turn invisible. They can do that. But another thing that they can do is they can also shift what position they're on. They can either be on the ground where you can hit them with a hammer attack or with Koops, or they'll be in the air where you need to jump. So that's one thing that they can do. They can shift their position. That's not too big of a deal, but it's just something to keep in mind. I do like this Tattle entry too, where Goombella's afraid of these things. How can you be afraid of Boos? Look at how cute they are. Actually, they do a better job at making the Boos seem demonic in Paper Mario. They don't really generally do the scared thing as much. I mean, they kind of did it, but not to the same extent. You know, they don't like cover their faces when you look at them. But I guess you really can't implement that sort of thing into an RPG now that I think about it. But yeah, they attack by licking you for some reason. I don't know. But they can turn invisible for a turn, which is kind of annoying, so keep on the lookout for that. You're just going to have to wait it out. It'll go away within a turn or two, so not a not too big of a deal. But remember, in order for these enemies to appear, you have to fight the atomic boo. I didn't see them the first time I played. So anyway, you can either float over with Leon or use Koops in order to get to that key, which we need to unlock the door on the other side. So So now in order to get to the other side, we need to move the staircase again. So how you do that is you go into this room right over here, which is basically just a mirror image of the room that we went the first time. And you need to hit the button twice. The first time the staircase will move into the middle, and the second time, which will happen right about now, the staircase will move all the way up. I like to say to the right just because if I'm looking at it from Mario's point of view. But yeah, now the staircase is in the correct position, so we can move on with the level. Hooray! And that's pretty much the dungeon. I'm not kidding. This is by far the shortest dungeon in the entire game, and also one of the relatively easiest too. But anyway, who's got the crystal star? Will it be a party in the house tonight? Find out next time on Let's Play Paper Mario: The 1000-Year Door. I'm ExandShadow, and I'll see you guys later.